So we came out earlier to take some measurements. Totally forgot to take a video about that. But we took some measurements, took a 100-foot tape measure to kind of see what we were looking at, what we were going to be planning next year, kind of get an idea so we could put it on graph paper and kind of jot down exactly how we wanted to lay out, you know, where our raised bed gardens were going to go, and you know, what we were going to plant and things like that. We still don't know what we're going to plant, but we're just trying to get it sectioned off, so that way we'll have an idea of what we're going to be doing. So as of right now, I mean, we're looking, we got like, you know, if you can see behind me, we've got a 90 foot by something like 300. And I know what you're thinking, that's probably too much for a beginner gardener, but anyway, pretty excited. Hopefully this time next year we'll be, you know, a whole field full of greens and vegetables next year, and you know, just flourishing and seeing how we're gonna do. But I'm super excited about getting started and seeing how all this is gonna progress over time. We're still, you know, learning, educating ourselves on it before we do it, you know, just watching a lot of videos, seeing what other people do, what they recommend. There's so many opinions out there. It's absolutely just mind-blowing how much different ideas that people have about growing different vegetables and, you know, all these things that we're going to be doing. So another thing I've been working on is composting. It seems easier than it is, but putting it into practice is a completely different thing. So, you know, just been kind of like doing a whole lot of research. You know, there's a lot of do's and don'ts, and what some people say you can't do, others are saying that you can. Like meat, for instance, some people say you shouldn't compost meat because of like pathogens, and I guess that it can somehow taint your garden bed. But then you have these other guys that are coming out saying that it's totally cool, that it has full of nitrogen and that it's perfect for growing and it's gonna make things grow better. And it's like a video today, I watched this guy, you know, he was putting cut up fish in the bottom of his garden beds and putting lime on top of them and then planting on top of that. And I mean, from, you know, the stuff that he was showing, his afters were amazing. So I mean, I can't really say that that's not working, but I just have tons of questions about composting, I guess, you know, just like what's working, what's not working. If any of you guys have any ideas, definitely drop in the comments, you know, things that you know work or things that you know that don't work. So to my kind of, oh, here's my wonderful woman, Courtney, over here. Anyway, so to my undying shame, here's my awful compost. So I started the compost before I knew what I was doing. So like I had actually scraped over here to the side when we started pulling out around the barn. I scraped out a section over here so we had somewhere to put all that stuff, all the trees and everything. So I took that dirt and some of those weeds and like the hay that hadn't been cut and things like that, and I just put them in a pile. And then I've been throwing like fruits and vegetables on them, just hoping that that was gonna work out as a compost. Obviously it's gonna decompose, but I don't know if it's gonna do it in the manner that I would want it to do anyway. I'm obviously not doing it right. But after learning a lot of things, I'm probably gonna end up starting over. But I'm just gonna ride this one out just to see what it does. And obviously you guys are gonna know also what it's gonna do. I do have a whole pile of wood chips. If I would have known that that worked as a good base, I would have started with that. It would have just been great. But I didn't know. So this is all like, you know, starting from ground floor. So we're learning as we're going.
So come here and look at this. Years and years ago, there were a bunch of grapevines planted all the way back in there, and they have actually grown all the way over here and spread, and they're muscadine grapevines. There's a bug on that one. But if you see, they're actually starting to come in, so there's going to be a lot. All of that, oh, one just fell on me. If you look, all on these trees and bushes is actually a ton of grapevines. Almost all of the green foliage, anyways, whatever it's called. Say it one more time. Foliage. I feel silly. Is actually grapevines all the way around. And when we killed the vine over there, they've started to die as they keep coming. But grapevines put down a lot of roots, so we've got a ton of grapes. So if you come on with me, I want to show you something. I actually like knowing the names of most of the plants, and I need to get us a book where we can look at the names of all the different plants. But if you'll turn this way with me and see, we actually have a bamboo forest, which turns out to be really good news because we can use this bamboo to stake up any of the plants that we've got. Ethan's got a machete and I let him handle the sharp objects. And you just chop them up and you can use them to stake up. We're using them right now to stake up the tomatoes that some of our friends gave us, the tomato plants. We've actually got to chop some more down because we did not make enough stakes. And then what we're using to stake them up too is we're using tape that we're using almost something like painter's tape. But the reason you use tape is you can actually, they can grow and it'll stretch a little bit. You don't want to use wire like those bread ties because if it's got metal in the center, when the plant grows and pushes up against it as time keeps going on, the wire will actually cut into your plant. So if you're thinking about using those,
No rubber bands?
Pick something else. Well, the rubber bands would be fine too, which we did on a couple of them. We're testing to see what works best. But the rubber bands will actually expand a little bit too. And I think we got to be careful though with the rubber bands because it's getting rained on a lot and the sun's there, so the rubber bands will dry out. I don't know if they're gonna like crack before the tomato plants are producing enough, but we're gonna see. That's why we did a couple of each time, testing them out. One day at a time. Woo!
So if any of you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop in our comments and subscribe to our YouTube page, Howard Heritage Homestead. So we'll see you next time.